Hey everyone, welcome to the Libertarian Leadership Academy live stream. We are talking with a candidate out of Ohio running for Ohio's first congressional district. His name is John Hancock, and he could be related to the John Hancock. Could be,
Could be.
potentially. But he does stand for liberty, and that's what we care about. He stands for self ownership, non aggression, consent, and that's what we're all about, promoting candidates that are going to protect the people and the will of the people from overreaching government. John, welcome to the show.
Glad to be here, Mike. How you doing?
Doing fantastic, man. I have not been so encouraged in years since the past month when I've been interviewing a bunch of libertarian candidates from around the country. Like there are so many of you that are stepping up, running for office, and getting our ideas out there, and that's what it's all about. What is your main reason why you're running for office?
Keep it short. I always was interested in politics. I was a Republican Trump uh, person right out of high school. It just lined up when he stepped into office and ran. Every libertarian from that side can tell you how much that's been just a crapshoot. And I joined the Libertarian Party officially back in 2022. And from there, I got active. I always knew I wanted to do something in politics, but the libertarian route is just it's kind of a everybody and everybody knows you at some point. Just how often you come to show up and how much you want to put yourself out there. So I started running as actually I was going to go for Cincinnati mayor, never got to that. Was going to run for Ohio State Senate or representation, and actually our governor candidate from 2018, Travis Irvine,
Yep.
he
Yeah, I
reached
know
out to me
Travis.
and he reached out to me and said, "There's literally no difference in requirements as far as ballot access for signatures and application to go from state to U.S. Congress." So he said it's going to be a contentious debate. It's going to be we just had a redistricting map redrawn this year that's thrown everybody for a loop. I'm supposed to be in my district one of the most heated, most nationally newsly talked about districts, and we have almost a 50-50 shot between a red and blue candidate. But now with me and obviously my name, it's going to be a very interesting ride, and I'm here for it. I'm willing to put my hat in.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for running. A lot of times candidates don't get the appreciation that they need. You know what I mean? When you're running for office, like I wish more people would thank them for running. And I've found that, like representing these ideas in the public square, like libertarianism is the most moral and ethical. It's actually the only moral and ethical political philosophy in existence. So
True.
having someone run under that and spreading the ideas out there needs to be, praised more, I think. Um, that wasn't really a question, but I was just that was like a thank you.
Absolutely. I'll piggyback. I've just seen in my adult life, and everybody who's older than me just says, "I don't know what's going on. I don't know what the heck I'm supposed to do." And I tell
Yeah,
people from my volunteering at church, at work, at school, like I'm running third party. I'm proud of it
yeah.
because really, I left the Republican Party ashamed. I really did.
And you're not the only one. I had big hopes for Trump, and it just didn't materialize. You know, and it just seems that the Democrats are going to infringe on our liberties, Republicans are going to infringe on our liberties, and it just keeps going. And they might make good promises during their campaigns, but it never materializes. So, um,
Yeah.
as as far as your run for U.S. House, what are some of the issues that you really care about that have affected you personally or people that you know?
Well, I'll start off with the main three I chose. and they're kind of broad, but it keeps it really easy to engage in conversation. One, tackling the taxation and over budget.
Mhm.
That's easy. Anybody that looks at the national debt just keep increasing, and they're just like, what do we do? It starts off with fixing how we overspend, and then also tackling how we tax. The next one is transparency. I don't need to go really further than just talk about the Epstein scandal. That has
Yeah.
been the biggest. I mean, I don't even know if you can compare that to the church hearings with JFK and MLK. Like, uh, this is so much bigger. It encompasses so much more, at least in my opinion. We need more transparency. We just need our politicians to be held accountable for what they do, what
Yeah.
they say, and what they do in the background. The third one is, I call it liberty, not lobbyism. And it's just me saying I'm running on a passion, on a motivation for promoting liberty and not being paid for by somebody that wants to just donate me, and me being enticed to take it for the only factor to say what they want me to say. Will I and have I been asked by other organizations to get some kind of promotion? Yes, but those are people that I align with already. And then a more personal one is criminal justice reform, and that goes back
Mhm.
to a history that I have with being held at gunpoint at 13 years old, and then over the course of time, over 10 years, I ended up actually advocating for my robber for getting out early and being able to speak on criminal justice and forgiveness.
It's with the criminal justice side, obviously, with the drug war and cannabis uh, prohibition. But let me ask you this: so, what is the definition of the word liberty to you?
Hmm. I never got asked that question. Hmm. Well,
So I
just
can,
go ahead.
yeah. So if for me, liberty is the absence of outside control or oppression over our lives as long as we're not infringing on the person, property, or natural rights of another, right?
Hmm.
That's liberty, which is different than freedom. You
Hmm.
know, freedom, you can do whatever you want in freedom. Liberty is you have your own, you know, you have your own bubble, if you will, of freedom, but you can't infringe on someone else's, you know.
Okay. All right. I like that comparison. So yeah, liberty to me, it looks like that. I know my life better than anybody else. Some people might have a different angle that I might not pick up on, but at the end of the day, I know what's best for me. I'll take all the criticism I can because that's also part of it not being about freedom. It's about being self accountable. And
Yeah,
so being able to be, you know, accountable and knowing that you have the right and the free will to do whatever you want give within those parameters. Why not pursue the upteenth degree to what liberty means for you?
I agree. Yeah.
Let's see.
So on your website, it says liberty runs in my family. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Well, given that my name is pretty synonymous with the Declaration of Independence, that was the cornerstone of this country, to proclaim liberty from an empire, to proclaim liberty from uh, empirical oppression, and I mean just a slew of things. Uh,
Yeah.
I took that as, I mean, it's catchy, absolutely. But at the same time, it truly means what I've always grown up to understand is I knew I had a famous name the entirety of my life. And when I found out why and the reasons behind it, um, it really sank in this idea that my my name has a legacy. And so
Yeah,
when I say liberty runs in my family, maybe I'm not related to, or maybe I am related to the actual John Hancock who signed the Declaration. But it's the sentiment.
yeah, yeah. You can believe in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what we really need right now is people believing in themselves. And it seems that the government has created so many laws, so many ordinances, so many regulations, so many taxes, so many fees, so many permits, right? It just crushes people. And we have completely lost track of a free society.
We have. And honestly, uh, it's almost a joke to call ourselves a free nation sometimes.
Oh yeah, it is a joke. It is. You're right.
I mean, there's something else I wanted to look into more before I make it more of an official stance and an issue. Um, I just learned about the flock cameras, like
Yeah.
that's like the main term. And as
Yep.
soon as I learned about it, just my commute to work, and that's the main
You
route
start
that I
seeing
drive
them, right?
daily. My goodness, it's like 20 that I've counted, and it's not
Oh
even a
yeah.
10-minute drive. It's insane. And then I go and find that deflock program that's all
Yep.
about people locally finding them and reporting them on that database. I, I have to go in and figure out how to update that system myself because I've seen at least half that are not even listed. It is atrocious. And when I keep listening to the everything that it's almost a violation, I mean, we have to fight that in court, but in principle, in my opinion, it is a violation of my privacy. Why should
Oh, big
somebody have
time.
to have absolute control and visibility of just my private property, my car, number one, but also my movement?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. So I live in a very rural area. Like to get to my house to my business here, it's 1 mile, right? And I did not re-register my car, right? But I only drive back and forth a mile. What what you know authority does the government have to say that I need to register my vehicle to drive a mile, right?
Right, right.
I mean, that's a small thing. Um, in the bigger picture, you look at property taxes, and it's basically you're paying the government for a property you own, or maybe you're paying a mortgage on. And like this year was $13,000 that I had to pay. That's a huge amount of money.
It's insane.
Yeah, and if I don't pay it, they're going to steal my property.
Well, I don't know where you excuse me. In Ohio, if you haven't even paid attention, I mean, yes, we're the other side of the country to you, but
Sure.
we have one of the few state citizen-led petitions to get on the ballot to end property taxes entirely, and that's due to just it's gone up increasingly. It's unaffordable. My church actually did hosted a study from the local community where they showed the data that suggests that and where my church is, it's a very affluent middle to upper middle class, and then over the course of time, it's gotten more demographically diverse with some Section 8, but the housing specifically and the demographics that show that most people are retired. They're on fixed budgets. They're on complete subsistence to whatever budget they're given by either the government social security or the retirement. And that's
Yeah.
not enough to pay for the property taxes. This was three
Yeah.
years ago. I don't even want to know what if that was updated, how much worse that would be. And if they're over budget by $1 and they can't pay for groceries or they can't pay for their property taxes, well, I'm sure they're probably going to just skip on the grocery, pay their property tax, but they shouldn't have to have that decision. That
Yeah, I
and
know.
the
Yeah.
farming and all the data centers coming up, all this stuff. It's making it worse.
You're absolutely right, 100%. I talk to people here locally in the community. We have a retail store. It's a retirement community. People are on fixed incomes, and the county, like in Washington State, they just tripled the amount that could be increased in property taxes across the state, right?
I don't I don't get it. I really don't. What makes our government think that they can just keep doing this? That's one of the reasons why I decided to put my
We
name
have,
in the hat.
yeah, yeah, we have to push back. You're right. Exactly. So
Yeah,
thank you for running, because you running and talking about these things will make them question their decisions.
absolutely.
Like, even if you don't get elected, you running on these issues and bringing these things up to people in your community and people pushing back against it, like that will make them question their decisions.
Actually, today I was talking to a coworker, and they said, "Why are you running libertarian? You would do so much better." And from my house to work, it switches districts, and it goes from a
Yeah,
hard blue to a hard red. The It doesn't matter really. And when I was told, "Why are you running a third party?" I said, "Look, there is nothing in my mind that suggests that either of these two parties are going to have a difference because they're doing the same thing. They're overspending, they're increasing taxes. Ohio is a
yeah,
completely, it's getting more red and red. As it's gotten more red and red, they've increased the taxes. It is not just a Democrat thing. It is not a Republican. It's both of them. The duopoly definition really strikes here. And when I
yeah.
tell them, like, whatever happens on election day next November, whether I win or my issues win, that it in and of itself is a win. Doesn't matter. If I
Yes,
can speak
yeah,
loud enough to win or win on my issues, I win.
yeah, absolutely. So Tony Williams, he's running in Louisiana. He says we need to, let me pull this back up. We need to end property taxes for deed holders. Um, and I agree with that. Like, we need to end property taxes, but can we do it voluntarily? And this is what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say there's a new bond on the ballot, right? Everyone that votes yes to increase their property taxes, they pay more, and everyone who votes no, they don't pay it.
I
What do you
it,
think about that?
I don't I don't really know if that's really a sound answer because who wants to I mean, there are very
You
few
know
people
who
that I've
does?
talked I the yeah.
The,
The
the
few at
people who
least
want it.
yeah. And when the common answer, at least for in Ohio, most of the property taxes goes to funding schools.
Mhm.
And the common answer is, well, who's going to pay for schools? I'm sorry. My counter is who's gonna whose kids are gonna go home when mom and dad can't pay the property taxes increasing constantly, and their house is taken over. Where are the kids gonna go?
Yeah.
And I never get
So
an answer back. They're just like, oh, okay.
yeah, so we homeschool. Got two kids, awesome kids, and our eldest is 17. She's a black belt in karate. She runs a local dojo. Right, our 11-year-old is finishing up her first novel. Like, she's written a book, fictional book. Like, what we've done is taught our kids how to learn and how to learn quickly. And that's not what the education system does. And I grew up in the education system. My parents are educators in the government run education system. And there is so much ineffectiveness in the system, right? So when I have a ballot initiative that I have to vote on, like I did last year, and I voted against the school bond that was
Mhm.
up here in Pacific County, right? And it lost. But what about the people that want it to pass? Like, shouldn't they be able to pay more money for what they want? And then shouldn't the people that don't want to pay it not have to pay it?
Okay, I see your point.
Yeah,
And yeah, on a level that makes sense, but realistically, when they're in the same boat that most Americans are, when they're faced with having to pick paying their groceries or paying their property taxes,
yeah,
that same question is going to come up, and they're going to have to face that same
yeah,
reality that
absolutely.
you and me had to have in that similar consequence with right now.
So what if they could
So
just say, I'm not paying it? And then that they're fine, right?
yeah,
So
it's
the
still
ones
bears the
though,
burden.
Yeah, the ones though that want the property taxes can pay it.
Hmm.
The ones that don't, so just make it voluntary. So if we made
Yeah.
property taxes voluntary, we could completely squash the whole argument that
Mhm.
if they want these extra bonds and whatever else, then they can pay it. If someone someone who's retired on a fixed income, like honestly, I can't afford $13,000 in
Mhm.
property taxes, but I paid it for this year, right?
Yeah.
Under threat, of losing my properties,
Right.
you know.
Yeah. And I mean, it's not a perfect system. It's not. At the end of the day, somebody's going to have to foot the bill because the state has made a budget it's going to keep growing and growing for whatever factors that is. So if we have to keep going with the voluntary side, I would say, yeah, let's make a citizen petition or at least include it in the bill that's in the states that do want to try to end property taxes. Say, well, what about a clause where if you want to pay, cool, sign here.
Yeah. That's what we should do.
So, so I've got some chats.
Yeah, got a bunch of chats. Joe, Joe Hanoush is asking about Louisiana LP.
Hmm. Louisiana LP.
No idea. Property
Uh,
tax should be completely abolished. No more carve outs that should property tax other properties. End it
mhm,
all. I agree. I would like to abolish property tax, but at the same time, if we make it voluntary, we
mhm,
can give people the option. You know what I mean? The people who love taxation, and there's a lot of them out there, right?
mhm,
Like, hey, what if we made it voluntary?
mhm.
You can give all the money you want.
Yeah. I think back at the end of the day, it's going to come back to that logical question you and I have to face right now is, man, this is getting to be expensive. Should I really have to be paying this? And that and
Yeah,
that and that and may, it's not an easy answer. It's because again, these property taxes do fund things like public school, like roads, like whatever the state decides to put it to funding.
sure.
And to rip the band-aid off completely, that's not a sound answer, but people are fed up. People do not want to. We're not a serfdom. We shouldn't have ever been, and we are on our
Oh
way.
yeah, you're right. Yep. No, no, we are there. We are there. It's free range slavery. That's what we are under.
Pick your flavor of career, but you're still paying the same thing at the end of the
Yeah.
day.
Yep. You got to pay your taxes. IRS is going to come after you.
Yeah.
Local government's going to come after you. They're going to steal your property. Like
Mhm.
none of this should. This isn't something that a free person lives under. You know,
Mhm.
like we can't celebrate the 4th of July every single year for our freedom and live under this type of tyranny and authoritarianism and
Yeah.
taxation.
Yeah.
So,
We yeah, and I mean like we can go like there's so many memes about one of my favorites was do you remember back when it was middle of COVID and California or maybe it was Los Angeles specifically had a no fireworks ordinance and it was like the most record breaking fireworks display in all of LA County. Like somebody had a drone and just shot the entirety of the sky and it was like it wasn't even choreographed. It was just multitudes of people that were pissed off enough to say, "You know what? Government, screw you. you I can't shoot off fireworks. Guess what? I'm going to tell you what I think." Whew.
yeah, we do fireworks out here on the beach too. It's one of the only beaches in Washington State where you can light off fireworks legally.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. All right. So Tony Williams says, I'm not sure, but finding out soon. I've met with them twice this year. I'm registered libertarian and a paid member. What is he talking about? Oh, he's responding to Joe Hanoush.
Oh, okay.
When is Louisiana LP campaigns for libertarian? Anyways,
Mm,
all right. Sorry about that. They
all good.
are they are messaging themselves in the comments. So
Shout out to Joe. He's the networker. He got me here. He got me connected with you.
Yeah, Joe's great. Joe's awesome. He's ran for office 4 times, once for Congress, 3 times for state rep. He's going to be filing again for the 5th time, running for state representative, I think, in Florida.
Joe, you get Florida Man of the Year. We got one more day in 2025. I might as well nominate you.
He's pretty normal. I don't expect Joe to get Florida Man of the Year for anything, but
Hey, crazier things have happened this year.
oh, so Josh says, "Hey, John."
Hey, I was on. We were on a news radio show last week. I said this was my first podcast, but I was on a radio show last week.
Awesome. That's great. Joe says, Team Florida Man 2026.
All right, we got him supporting it. I advocate. He advocates too. We got a 2 for 2. One of my favorite. Sorry, side note, but one of my favorite things is I was in my English class like 2 years ago, and it was like the easiest freaking class. And I had an assignment: make a pamphlet about anything. So I made it about Florida Man stories, and I got an A.
Oh man. So, all right. If you had one thing, one idea that you could push out there into the general public, what would it be?
Oh god, there's so many good ones.
Okay, so if you had seven ideas, what would they be? You can go through all of them.
Okay. If I had, oh gosh, without being too libertarian, I don't want to just say in the Fed, but also I do believe that's a very strong.
That's a good one. Yeah, talk about it. Go for that one. Go for it.
I love the whole in the Fed notion. I love even before I was a libertarian, before I was like still a Republican and kind of like I was a teenager when I first heard about Alex Jones, and then I bought I bought his freaking end the Fed arrest the banksters sticker. Like I am always before I was even libertarian, I always had that notion. So and just being here is just it just further progressed my I hate taxes notion. But in no particular order, I would say, gosh, ending the Fed, or at least auditing them for the first time in their freaking existence. Come on.
Yeah.
Criminal justice reform, ending the mandatory minimums. Can we finally? I mean, thank you, Trump. I'll give him one thing. He did finally push forward the rescheduling of cannabis from 1 to 3, which is it's a big thing. I'm actually I'm actually kind of like, hey, I'll throw a bone where they have a bone to be thrown.
I'll eat a gummy.
Yeah, man, that was such a transparency. Seriously, I hate what I can't even imagine what the victims of the Epstein sex ring, the girls that at the time were teenagers that are still today alive and present and just looking at all of this. First off, they were hyped up probably about we're finally going to get justice. Then Pam Bondi does her thing, and Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, and Trump were all like, "What do you mean there's no files?" And then Virginia Giuffre just suddenly dies. There was so much happening this year in the backdrop. And after coercion and Thomas Massey hate, and still today, there's just so much more about it. Like, can these women finally get justice? Can these victims finally have peace instead of their actual victimization be used as a political weapon? Can we please have more transparency, for God's sake?
Yeah, I agree 100%, man. Yeah, push that forward in your campaign. Like so the issue that I see, and it's not just with Epstein, but it's like rapists get off with such low punishment around the country. And it's not just, Epstein and all of that, but it's like you see it, right?
I do. I mean, and
And
that's
it's
just the
like
whole.
that. It should be considered murder. Like honestly, it should be at that same level. If you rape a woman
Mhm.
like that's horrible. That
It
is so
is.
horrible. Violating not just her personhood, right? But I think it's worse than murder, actually, because she has to move on. She has
Yeah.
to live her life with that experience.
Yeah. Any tragedy that somebody has to then deal with, and even worse when the unfortunate she gets pregnant and then carries the baby and the baby's alive growing up. Like, I don't even want to begin to understand the scar that just
Yeah,
having the stories that I've heard, having to look at her child, and it was a product of a rape. And yes, she loves her kid, but at the same time, there's just that weight. Like that's
yeah,
something that I will never understand. I don't want to, but I empathize anyway. Um, I don't know. That's really bad. But really, like that's why, like the Epstein stuff, like that's why I put it in my bio because to speak really loudly on the transparency. Because can we finally have a nation where we're putting ourselves with our heads held high, feeling low about whatever actions we've carried, our political leadership specifically, and answer for things that we've been trying to get clarity on forever? It's really a shame how much we, as a free society, don't really have access freely to information that really is pretty damning.
yeah.
It's about I didn't have I don't know if I had 7, but I think I can get off my soapbox with that. I think that was, enough.
Look, man, I agree with you. It's tough. Man, it's a tough topic to talk about, in the government, and it seems more in the Democrat states that when multiple felons, are getting let out. And that's the thing that people need to understand. It's like libertarians, we believe in liberty, right? Which
Mhm,
means the absence or outside control over our lives as long as they're not infringing in the rights of anyone else. But once you infringe on the rights of
mhm.
someone else, like you've crossed the line. You're done. Like that's when law enforcement needs to happen. That's when, you know,
Yeah.
we need to take
It
action.
yeah, and I mean,
Go ahead.
the Libertarian Party will have the most I've seen it having the most wide spectrum of opinion on justice and on the criminal system and all that stuff from one side to the other. At the end of the day, yes, I think you're more right that non-victimless crimes. Okay, okay, somebody that commits insurance fraud. Can we maybe not give them a felony? I don't think committing insurance fraud makes you have to legally not be able to vote, own a gun, other things like that, like restriction of other rights. But for murder, for rape, for actual really
But they're,
horrendous stuff, yeah, like that should be
yeah, but it seems like they're giving people with insurance fraud longer terms than they're giving rapists.
that, and that's I'd have to look more into that, but I have heard that that's a thing. Eh,
Yeah,
It, that I mean, that's why I
that's why
put
I said it.
that's why I put the issue up on my campaign website because the more and again, this is my first run in politics. I've been a libertarian for like not really 2-3 years, and
Okay.
I've still got a lot to learn. But I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to engage. I'm willing to talk to people. I'm that's what separates me from at least my incumbent, whose name is Greg Landsman. He's been in DC. He doesn't know. He's so out of touch. At
Oh
least
yeah.
I work for a living. I go to school part-time. I volunteer with my community in separate ways in different avenues. If anybody is for the people who understands my district, my people who I could represent as a congressman, it should and could be me.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You are someone who is open to ideas, someone who's open to learning, right? Most of these congressmen are not. They're
Yeah,
closed off. They
yeah,
don't want new innovative ideas that's going to advance society.
yeah.
So I
You know,
appreciate you running.
yeah. And I'll say this lastly, but like my, at least my congressman, he's, with the whole like, I don't know if you've heard anything about Track APAC and that whole movement with everything going on. He's one of the big ones. He's gotten almost $1 million of donation from APAC alone, or similar PACs. That
Mhm.
just tells me that all in the same district that I'm running in, he and his opinions on his votes for Israeli aid are completely skewed in how much the citizens don't want that versus what
Yeah.
he votes on. He is out of touch.
All right, man. Well, we got to get you elected. So, can you tell people how to donate to your campaign? What you're going to do with the donations?
Mhm. Yeah. So if you click on my link or go to hancockforliberty.com, there will be a donate button. It's big and yellow, says donate. You can donate there on my donor box. $5, $5,000, whatever you can spare or whatever you generously want to do. I will go and take that. I will go and make yard signs, stickers, I'm going to put my John Hancock as far as the eye can see. And I'm going to make sure that people recognize that there are more options because
Yeah.
there's Greg Landsman, who's the incumbent, and then on the Republican side, you've got an ex-CIA agent. Like, how much more out of touch are this slate of people? Now, there's more running, but let's be honest. The Democrat incumbent is going to stay the incumbent, at least nominationally, on his party, and the DC guy, the CIA guy, is going to get it because he just knows the right people. Can we have somebody from Ohio who's been here for all of his life, who's done everything here, who's literally the only time I actually leave this area is whether I'm on vacation, and that's about it.
Hey, John. Okay. So, I want to help you create a short video, like 30
Yeah.
seconds, right?
Okay.
That you can promote on your Facebook page and run ads. And
Mhm.
I'll donate 150 bucks to your campaign if you do $5 a day for 30 days for this ad that we create.
I'll
So,
do it. Let's do it.
all right, cool. So I've got a training that's coming up next week for the Libertarian Leadership Academy, and I would like to work with you before that, and then show people how to edit it.
All right. I
So
I gladly I will do everything that I can to help you, to help me, to literally.
awesome,
This isn't just about me. This is about the broader libertarian movement. I
dude.
want to
I
help
I
this
get
party.
it. Yeah, absolutely. No, it's not just about the party. It's not just about you. It's about ideas.
Yeah.
It's about the getting these ideas out there. So
Mhm.
can make it happen. All right, man. Well, I appreciate your time. We're about eight
Mhm.
minutes over. You know, so
It was good conversations anyway.
yeah, great conversation. I appreciate you coming on, man, and I appreciate you running. Like
Mhm.
running for office as a libertarian is something that should be cherished, and it's an honorable mission. So
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me. It's been a blessing.